If the pipes are there, there's no meter, then you're fine. But if you, like, I had the option to sign up for a meter in the front, it would have cost me like $300.
So I have 4 quart bags of frozen elderberries that we're going to heat up here a little bit, and then we're going to press them. So when you get your elderberries, right now is the time to pick elderberries. They're everywhere out in the wild. This is an incredible elderberry year.
So after you take the head off of it, dunk it in some water, the feathers and all that, before you do the next part. Okay? Yes.
What the skin is, I bend it backwards, and you're going to get a clean cut right there. So you're not going to have any pokey edges. Your bone's going to be smooth right there.
So with all of these things, and there are additional on horizontalhive.com, my website, there is a free swarm catching guide that lists the basic rules based on honeybee biology that help you maximize your swarm catching rate.
World, how many people are actually growing food right now? All right, and then, like, out of the ones that raised your hand, I'm just going to run through some percentages. Like, how many are at like 50% of your food? Lights off. 50% of your food. You're growing 50% of your food, right? And we're going down, we're not going to go up, right? 60%, right? 40%. Well, you got a whole farmer's market thing going and everything. You kind of, that was kind of slick how you did that. All right, what was that? 40%? Yeah, 30%. Just for fun, just for having some tomatoes and peppers, and maybe you're thinking about ramping up, right?
Because you know what, when you talk about growing food, every year is a total different situation. Like this year, we're having craziness, aren't we? With the weather.
Yeah, I'm building a cabin.
Yeah, he's building a cabin, that's true. And that's one thing, a lot of people, he always says, growing food can be difficult, right? That's why we have grocery stores. Yeah, while we have our grocery stores. So this year, it was so cold. We had a lot of cooler temperatures. We had a lot of rain. And so you look at a lot of the growing that we're doing, and, the tomatoes were terrible this year. If you're from, like, around our area, just terrible with blight because of all the rain that we had. The squashes just did terrible. They just got dissipated by all the bugs and everything. And maybe I only got a couple of zucchini, believe it or not. But it's just one of those things. Every year it's a challenge. You might have drought, too much rain, not enough rain, too many pests. But you will always have rock stars in your garden. Right? You'll always have one, like you'll get so many peppers, or you get so many cauliflower, or this year was the year of the fruit. How many people did go with fruit? Like strawberries, blackberries. We have a blackberry this year that we got as big as our grandson's ear. Our granddaughter, and it was as big as his nose. And the blackberries were huge, and the fruit was great. Peaches are great this year, the apples look great. So where you have one fail, a lot of people are like, oh, my garden did so bad, you're gonna do good in other ways, so don't give up. Okay, so right now, how many of you guys are doing stuff with herbs and with weeds? All right. But a lot of times, a lot of us want to know what else I can do with herbs and weeds, right? So hopefully, between the two of us,
Give me some ideas.
yeah. So let's see. Let's wait a second. Right now, I want you guys to think of right now your favorite weed that you like in your yard, and your favorite herb.
Have a pleasant evening. We'll be underway in just a moment.
We get going.
Yeah, so you guys can come on down. Or you can do it from where you are.
That deep sea fishing, it's like the most beautiful.
Pressure after graduating with a PhD in forestry from University of Missouri in Columbia. We got a homestead in the Ozarks and started doing natural beekeeping. So this is what I do now professionally for a living, supporting a family with 5 children entirely through the bees. My uncle, who's been keeping bees since 1972, before I was even born, so I grew up spending summers at his village where it was all full of honeybees. And one thing that he has been doing differently from the conventional American approach is that he never bought bees.
So I did change the title. I took the liberty of doing that because when I first looked at the title, it said, "Making Your Raised Beds Rock."
Oh, how funny.
And I had a problem with that because it's like, I don't want to turn your raised beds to rock.
And you can get fancy once you're used to it. The LeMay helps with that. Makes it a little easier. And then you put it into the hot oven. Now when I'm doing an Italian or a French style loaf, I heat the oven up to 450. I'm not talking a brioche dough, but a traditional sourdough, ciabatta, French Italian style loaf, sourdough.
So, I'm Stacy, for some of you guys don't know, and I started fermenting very little before Doug and I moved off grid. And I was kind of doing it, but I wasn't really doing it like I've done since we moved on our property. And I wanted to, I would, when we moved out initially, I would start to can things, and I just kept thinking, I was getting into health, and I'm like, I'm killing all the food, I just didn't feel right about it. And then I would have, like, underneath our crawl space, I had rows and rows of all this stuff I had canned, and I mean, some of it is still there now, and it's been 11 years, no joke. I'm really bad. And so what I did was I wanted to ferment or do things and preserve my food the way they used to.
And take them out into the world and teach them about life through the elderly people, the people who lived in the backwoods, the homesteaders, the off-gridders. This man took it to another level with his kids. Go in and Google Foxfire and read the story. If you're here, you will enjoy it. All right.
We got the first presenter!
I'm Avonlea, and this is one of my squares, and it's of a homestead, and it's snowing on the homestead.